I feel like I'm more consistent with Jason Spears than I am Huntress Hatchets. Never mind. I want to start this video off by making a couple things abundantly clear. Number one, I am not leaving again anytime in the foreseeable future. I have no plans to stop making content all of a sudden or abandon you guys without anything like that again. And even if I did, it would be just another break and I would be back within probably, hopefully not as long as a year this time around. And number two, I am making this video not only to voice my frustrations, but also to kind of have what I feel like is a much needed conversation around the fatigue that people are feeling with this game. Specifically, unfortunately, a lot of killer players, but hopefully some survivors will see where I'm coming from. I do this opening because I am trying to avoid someone rolling their eyes and going, oh my god, here we go, Kaiser's quitting again, we'll see you in yada yada yada, whatever the case may be. I know I'm probably still going to get that because a lot of people on the internet unfortunately do not watch videos to listen to what is being said. They watch videos purely for the sake of arguing, and no matter how many clarifiers I put in a video, someone's going to just watch the video for the sake of arguing, and so they're going to ignore what I say, and they're going to purposely misunderstand and be obtuse and probably get banned in the process because I hate intellectual dishonesty. So this opener is really mainly for the people who are here to listen to what I have to say. With that being said, the thesis statement of this video is I regret coming back to make Dead by Daylight content. I regret turning on my OBS and recording and making content again. I really should have just stuck with maybe streaming Dead by Daylight, and maybe some people came back by once they saw I was playing the game again, but realistically speaking, I don't know if making videos was a good idea. The good thing is that unlike in the past, back in 2024, if I were to stop making these videos, it wouldn't affect my life whatsoever. While the extra money is nice here and there, most of that money, as I've told you guys before, goes toward opening my own bookstore someday. It goes into savings and it stays there unless an absolute emergency happens and I need to pull that money out. So in reality, the truth is that it doesn't really matter all that much whether or not I'm doing this. I'm only doing it because I want to. And despite everything I'm going to state today, I still want to. I still want to make Dead by Daylight content because I still have a lot of opinions. I still have a lot of cool ideas for videos. There's still some other stuff that I want to do, and I've been enjoying Jason a lot, but we'll get to that in a moment. Now, for those of you who don't know who I am, because we have gained well over 300 subscribers in the last month, which doesn't seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it is still quite an explosion of people, considering that my sub count was stagnant for almost a year, from 2025 to the beginning of 2026, give or take. So that's pretty cool. But there are also people who just realistically do not pay that much attention. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my history with this game. I've been playing Dead by Daylight since October of 2022, Halloween Day specifically. I downloaded the game because my favorite slasher of all time, Ghostface, is in the game. And throughout 2023, I spent that year kind of building and cultivating an audience that regularly watched my videos. And by early 2024, I was able to turn this content creation into a full-time thing. By the end of late 2024, due to a myriad of shit going on at the time, I decided that I needed to take a step back and reevaluate my life. And I realized that being a full-time content creator is not really something that I want to do, at least not in terms of YouTube. I'd love to be a full-time writer, or even if I did do YouTube, maybe like a full-time educational YouTuber or something like that. And I am working on that. I'm trying to get certain equipment, but I digress. The point is that I came back in early 2025 for about 4 to 5 months making Dead by Daylight content, but I did it with the understanding that at any time I would put it down if I ever felt like I didn't want to do it anymore. And I did. I put it down, I uninstalled Dead by Daylight altogether, and I left for a year. And in that year span, not a single thing happened to the game that made me think it was worth coming back, except for Jason Voorhees. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole story because a lot of you probably don't care about that, but the reason I came back for Jason is because he was my father's favorite slasher. For those of you who don't know, I lost my dad back in April of 2019 to leukemia after a 5-year-long fight with the cancer. His body finally gave in, and my father is the entire reason that I love horror. Again, long story short, when I was about 9 or 10 years old, my dad sat me down and basically forced me to watch a 20-hour-long movie marathon of horror movies, and it helped teach me that the stuff wasn't real, and I learned to love horror. And even though my dad was not as big into the slashers, he was more of a monster movie guy, he did really, really love Jason, the Friday the 13th movies, and so coming back for Jason was kind of a no-brainer. My dad never knew that Dead by Daylight existed because I never knew that Dead by Daylight existed, but I'm sure that if he did, he would have found it really fucking cool. He would have thought it was one of the coolest things ever, and I'm sure that I would have had much more memories of me playing the game and him watching. Not playing, my dad wasn't a gamer, but, you know, I would have had a lot of memories of him watching me play the game, and that's why I came back. I came back because I wanted to see if they would do my dad's favorite slasher right. And not only did they do his favorite slasher right, they did it so well that Jason has become one of my favorite killers. Unlike my good friend Bran, I never planned to main Jason for the sake of maining Jason, right? Bran main Xenomorph because of how much the Alien movies mean to him. I am maining Jason because Jason is legitimately, to me, one of the most fun and interesting characters they have ever added to the killer roster. He is fair to play against and as, he is fun to play against and as, he has very little things that need changing about his kit, and overall, I just have a great time when I'm playing him. I really do greatly enjoy playing Jason. However, the regret comes from the fact that when I remove myself from the immersion of Jason, when I take a step back and I look at the game as a whole, everything begins to fall apart. I left Dead by Daylight for a year for a combination of things. The community is dog shit. The Dead by Daylight community is genuinely one of the worst gaming communities I have ever had to deal with. And for a lot of people, myself included, it is the worst gaming community that I've ever had to deal with. The Dead by Daylight community is full, chock to the brim, with arrogant, egotistical shitbags whose entire life is dedicated to trying to make other people more miserable than they are, whether it be through the game, whether it be through harassing people on Reddit or Twitter or whatever the fuck may be, whether it be through literally outright doxing people, inventing, like, photoshopping evidence of horrible shit that never happened against people, trying their absolute best to, like, do the salty streamer content thing where everybody's trying to get clout off of everybody else. Legitimately, this community is awful. An awful, awful experience, awful time. I do not recommend involving yourself in the Dead by Daylight community. There are some great people here, some people who I've grown to love and care about very much. But genuinely speaking, I would not fuck with the greater community at large in terms of Dead by Daylight. On top of that, the game is absurdly unbalanced right now. Like, the game has always had balance issues, but to this degree is genuinely insane. I've already made a very rambly video about the autopilot problem in Dead by Daylight, and I will perhaps maybe one day make a more detailed list and breakdown of the autopilot problem. Maybe I'll do like a where I actually write a script on it. I don't know. I haven't really decided if I care that much to actually do it. That is one of the biggest issues, is that loading into the game as Survivor gets you an insane amount of value for free. 15 seconds of base kit borrow time, 70-second hook states, pallets around every single corner. A lot of the maps have been seemingly not necessarily reworked, but I've noticed a lot of strong loops tend to spawn closer together on a lot more maps now, and so it's created a big problem there. And overall, the journey to getting to playing can sometimes be miserable. Dozens of second chance perks and all sorts of crap that, again, I've already talked about and did a full video on, but the balance is just completely and utterly lopsided. And unfortunately, it feels like the developers are either completely fucking incompetent or they simply don't give a shit. And that's the thing that hurts me the most, is that behavior doesn't seem to care about this game and the health of this game. And nothing spoke that truth more to me than the Black Banquet event that we're currently in. I know it seems like I am harping on the Black Banquet event a lot, and so are a lot of other creators, but what you gotta understand is that this event is the epitome of all the bullshit that the killer side of the population has been going through for the past year now. This is absolutely absurd, because not only is this mode survivor-sided in terms of power level, it is also survivor-sided in terms of fun level. Survivors get so many cool things, so many interesting effects to work with, so many fun and engaging ways to play the game in this mode, and killers get nothing. A shitty little fart cloud that is essentially a clown bottle, but maybe kind of worse, and it's not fun. It's not fun, it's not interesting, it's not engaging, it is not a cool way to play the game, and generally speaking, it is, at the end of the day, just not enough. And I cannot, for the life of me, understand how not a single person at Behavior during the development of this Black Banquet event raised their hands and said, hey, so are we going to give the killer players literally anything? Are we going to provide them with literally anything? Because realistically speaking, the killers don't have anything. I've heard a lot of people talk about past events being killer-sided, but one, not only was the killer-sidedness this fucking lopsided to where the survivors basically were without anything, but also, again, the survivors were never without anything. They never didn't have cool abilities to fuck with. They never didn't have interesting things to play with. And if they ever did, it wasn't as egregious as this. And that's really what it feels like the direction this game is going in. Behavior is so busy coddling and hand-holding survivor players that at this point, there is almost no excuse for survivor players to be bad at this game. At this point, there is almost no excuse for you to not be getting at least 2 to 3 man outs every single match as Survivor, because there is so much handed to you on a silver platter, and not just in the Black Banquet event, in literally the base game as well, that it is ungodly. And I am not trying to say that Survivor players don't deserve to have a fighting chance, or they don't deserve to have fun things, or they don't deserve to have, you know, cool perks or resources or anything. I'm not saying gut the Survivor side and make it unplayable. What I'm saying is that it feels like killers are being ignored. Like we are the proverbial sacrifice on the chopping block for the fun of the Survivor side. Everything that I've talked about in the past and in this video makes me just fucking miserable. And it makes it to where when I do play this game, I have to just laugh it off. How ridiculous it all feels, because it truly does feel ridiculous. And somebody, somewhere is going to go, skill issue. If you're not getting 4Ks all the time, that's just a skill issue. Blah, 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 blah. But as I've said in the past, it has never been about 4Ks. It has never been about winning every game. It has been about the fact that the journey to the end of the game is not fun. And Jason is fun. He is a fun, satisfying killer to play. But every once in a while, I will come across a Survivor team who shows even the smallest amount of competence, and then all of a sudden, everything becomes much, much much more unfun. All of a sudden, I'm dealing with survivors who know how to take advantage of the 4.4. So I have to walk around a rock formation that's too high for me to throw over, and a pallet that is standing up, and there's 4 more rock formations just like that right next to this one. All of a sudden, I'm having to deal with a billion second chance perks and a billion ways for them to undo the hook states that I'm working hard for, and all of this other stuff, and it doesn't affect me right then and there, but it's a death of 1,000 cuts situation. The first Dead Hard, DS, Conviction, multiple pallets in a row, whatever the case may be, is not a problem. The 400th one in the same gaming session is. It's like a needle prick that you occasionally get while you're just sitting around. You're mildly annoyed when that needle prick happens, but the more needles that prick you in a given time frame, the more you're gonna start to get fucking mad. The more you're gonna start to get fucking pissed. And that's what really feels heavy on my heart. I'm at a point now where 2 of my weekly videos are almost guaranteed. Clip compilations and me reacting to your Dead by Daylight clips. And I'm doing this because it's just an easier way to make content when I don't feel like it. Again, if I didn't want to make content, I wouldn't. If at any given point in time I want to stop, I will. But at the same time, I shouldn't feel like I want to stop. I shouldn't feel regret that I ever came back. I still have tons of opinions I want to share. I still have tons of cool games and video ideas I want to make regarding this game, and I will make them as long as I want to. But that doesn't stop a heavy feeling of regret from seeping in. The other day, I finished writing and recording a video for my history channel, and that got put off because I was focusing on making Dead by Daylight content. And there's a part of me that wonders if it was a good idea to ever re-spark this interest in my audience. Was it ever a good idea to have a new brand of people find me through my various videos and come and join and hang out? Was it truly worth it to do? Because at the end of the day, whether it be a month from now, 2 months, 3 months, whatever, I'm going to heavily regret it when I eventually have to step away again because this game will become too much. I have a friend of mine in my life who recently came back, and they left my life for a few years because when we were together, we were very close. They started dating this guy who I knew from personal experience was a horrible dude. I knew for a fact that he was a toxic, abusive asshole just from the way she told me he acted and the things she told me he did, and I've met him, talked to him, and he is definitely 100% a horrible person. And I told her that he was when she told me that they were in a relationship because she had this huge crush on him. And I warned her that it was not going to end well, and she stopped being my friend for a few years. She came back into my life recently because, as it turns out, I was right. And I know it sounds arrogant, but this kind of thing happens all the time. I have enough experience with people that I'm able to recognize the small signs when someone's going to turn out to be a bad person. When someone's going to gaslight and abuse and broken promises over and over again, I can recognize that. And unfortunately, I recognize that in behavior. I'm going to make a prediction. And whether or not it stands to become true, I really hope I'm proven wrong. But within the next 5 years of this game, by the 15th anniversary of this game, at some point, there will more than likely be a mass exodus of killer players. And queue times for survivor players will get so long that they will go find something else to do. And slowly but surely, the casual and even regular player base will dwindle away until only the most hardcore players remain. And I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we have another 10 years ahead of us. But the first thing that's going to happen is behavior has to pull their head out of their ass. And unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from and understand my frustrations. But don't worry. Like I said, I'll continue to make content. It is something that I want to do, and it's something that I will do until I don't want to do it no more. Other than that, a great big special thank you to my channel members listed on screen now for their additional support. If you want to find out how to become a channel member today, get awesome perks like seeing videos early, or discount codes and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.